Hey guys, we're here today to do something a little different. We asked a little while ago for people to ask us some questions. We've got some questions. We've got some chicken wings coming, and we figured we'd talk to you guys hot ones style today.
And the reason why we're doing that is because we took a couple days to can a bunch of different varieties of hot sauces from all of the hot peppers that we are growing in our backyard homestead this year. And we've kind of put everything out here so you guys can view and we can kind of talk about the different mixes that we have. But better yet, you're going to get our first reaction to what we think about the flavors while also getting to know us through the questions.
Yeah, so stick around and you'll watch us melt our faces off, or not. We don't know really how hot any of these are, except for one, which we kind of snuck a peek on a day or two ago.
And it's really good.
It's good. It's hot. So,
Definitely good.
yeah, so guys,
Stay tuned.
Enjoy. Movie magic.
We got all the ingredients out real quick.
I'm going to show you real quick what actually went into the hot sauces. The cool thing with these 5 varieties, the only thing we varied up is the peppers that went in them, except for one where we changed up the vinegar a little bit. But it's the same recipe. It's out of probably one of our favorite canning books right now.
This is Miss Wheelbarrow's Practical Pantry.
We've had quite a few good recipes out of here, but I think the hot sauce was actually the first one we even found last year.
It's even kind of indented because we go to it so
that
much.
page so much now.
Definitely. And so what we brought out was all of the ingredients that go into the hot sauce. Now, of course, we're not going to tell you exactly what goes into that because you should just grab the book. It's a great book, and you should really support people who give out recipes that are like this, because we get asked several questions about, can you convert this recipe to canning? Can you do this with that vegetable or that fruit? And to be honest, a lot of those resources are within books and online on YouTube.
And it's also important with canning too that you don't vary from tested recipes either, because you can run into issues with things not preserving properly. So
definitely. So the recipe calls for dried mango, so that's one ingredient that we put in it. Dried pineapple as well, salt, garlic,
and then we've got ginger, dried ginger, honey. We try to use a local honey when we can. Standard yellow ballpark mustard. And then the only place where we really varied is you can use either a white vinegar, which we did for 4 out of these 5 hot sauces, or you can use an apple cider vinegar, which we did for this one here in the middle. And we're gonna find out which one tastes better. All right, guys, so we've got our chicken wings, we've got some nachos, and we're gonna start. And I think Ash is gonna open up the green one. We're gonna start there.
So this one here is just made with our green cayenne peppers,
Which are just an unfully ripened cayenne pepper.
and the reason why we wanted to do this with the more mild ones, look at that.
Oh, it's got a nice kind of thick consistency.
Definitely a thicker consistency. So we wanted to use the green ones because the green provides more of a mild flavor. So if you're somebody who doesn't really like peppers, going for one that is not ripened is actually going to provide you with more of a hint of that kind of spicy flavor, as opposed to letting it go to its full maturity like a red or other colored pepper.
Yeah. At least in theory, we're gonna find out.
In theory, we're gonna find out. So with this hot sauce, it does say in the ingredients to strain it, and we didn't do that. We wanted to keep in all of the seeds. We wanted to keep in all of the, I guess, matter that was on that pepper itself, or comes from the pepper itself, and we just thought that maybe it would add more benefits health-wise. And we don't mind the kind of chunkier texture as opposed to
the more liquid, kind of like Tabasco sauce you would get if you were to strain all of this. So
that's what we did.
All right, let's go for it.
Awesome.
Cheers, babe.
Cheers. That's nice and light. Little bit of tingle, but more on like the side of your tongue.
Yeah, it's definitely not, you know it's spicy, but it's not like it's not knocking you out.
I quite like that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'm more of a dip person. That's how I like to eat my hot sauce.
Yeah, more of a traditional like hot wings, hot sauce kind of fan. So in this case, I'm just gonna spread it over top and enjoy it that way.
The wings are delicious.
What we should also do is see what people asked us, and we'll start with this. Failures from the garden this year. There's a couple.
I think for me, it was the learning curve of bugs. It definitely bugs, learning who is a friend and who is a foe. I certainly don't like getting rid of anybody, but there are certain pests that we had to.
Yeah.
Definitely had to this year. So I would say that was a failure, not
Onions in general.
kind heart.
Yeah, onions in general for me were probably the biggest failure. I was hoping to get some
pumpkins.
really big globe onions, but which actually kind of goes back to the bug thing because we ended up with onion fly and onion maggot, which probably hindered us a little bit. But I also think we didn't fertilize enough for the onions, and we kind of learned that they're really big feeders. So next year we're definitely definitely gonna try that for next year. Yeah, those are good wings.
They are. We also have nachos on our plate just to see what the different texture is. This could almost be used as a salsa because it is a little bit chunkier.
Yeah, you could probably use that as a salsa, almost like a salsa verde or something like that. But that's nice. Did you learn anything about me this year from all the gardening and all the work outside?
That you're definitely a keep working kind of person. Even if you're doing a full day of work, you'll always come home and make sure we do just something in the garden. So time balance,
Well, I think I also
it hits you a bit, eh?
it was more of a choke on the chip, I think, on that one. But
Oh, sorry.
I definitely also realized too that I have one of the reasons I usually will do more when I get home is because you're usually doing something in the garden at that point. I have a real hard time sitting down if I see you working. I feel bad almost, but it is fun.
I just always love being in the garden.
Well, it is fun, and it's just like if I see somebody doing something, I can't just sit there and watch them do something. I have to jump in and get my hands dirty too. So
No, that makes a lot of sense. What about for me? Did you learn anything about me? Hot spot.
Pardon?
Hot spot.
You definitely are a person who likes to keep their hands busy.
Definitely.
Yeah, if you kind of sit idle too much, you're always trying to figure out the next plant to go in the ground. You're always trying to figure out the next thing to harvest. What bed needs to be fixed up a little bit to make it that much better. You definitely aren't just sit and let time go by kind of person.
Well, there you have it, folks. Can't sit still. I'm sure they can tell that from my videos too. Well, what do you think? I want the next one.
Yeah, let's try the next one.
Okay, let's get the next one.
All right, hot sauce 2 and 3, and these are the same blend of peppers. The only difference between these two hot sauce is one was made with standard vinegar and the other one was made with apple cider vinegar. So we're gonna see which one is different and if we like one better than the other.
I have the regular one here.
And this is the apple cider vinegar.
Mine's a little bit more watery, but sometimes that can just be the mix.
Yeah, it can just be how much moisture was in those peppers specifically. But I would definitely say both of them are a little bit runnier than the green peppers.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I find that can be common because once a pepper hits more of a maturity, they start drying out and a lot of their moisture starts going. A common thing you'll actually see with peppers is a thing called corking, which is kind of like stretch marks on the pepper themselves. And that's from them drying out and them kind of constricting with their skin. And the main thing with that is that's when you know they're ready to go and they're a little bit spicier. Color-wise, these look very similar.
Yeah, very, very similar. I can't really tell any kind of difference in color.
Which one do you want to start with?
That one was there. I'm gonna go for the apple cider vinegar one first.
Perfect. He's only mad because he doesn't get any.
Rocco's displeased in his lack of chicken wings this evening. Okay. Different than the straight up not jalapeno, the straight up cayenne peppers, but really
Definitely.
tasty still.
Yeah, definitely different for that one. Now this one has a mix of peppers.
We've got hot cherry.
Sorry about that. He wouldn't stop barking.
Apparently, he is displeased with the neighborhood right now.
And the lack of chicken wings.
Yeah, and the lack of chicken. I mean, anybody would be displeased with that.
Definitely. So what we were saying is in this one, we do have certain types of peppers, but the mix is the same, just only difference is the vinegar.
Yeah.
So the peppers we have, you were mentioning were the
Yeah.
cherry bell.
Yeah, the hot cherry bell, cayennes, serrano, and then we've got, well, we'll be seeing these later, but these yellow and purple ones, which we don't know what they are. A couple people have said that they're like a purple cayenne or a purple jalapeno, but they don't look like either of those. So we're not entirely sure what these little guys are. But they're delicious.
And that's basically it, is
Yeah.
whatever hot peppers we had. You want to try the next one, the
Yeah.
one that was the regular vinegar, and see if it compares?
Personally, I don't see any difference.
I don't really
Yeah, I don't
notice
think
much.
Yeah,
I was almost thinking slightly tangier, but
yeah. It's pretty much the same. It's tasty. I think I prefer it over the green, though. Both of them, I think I prefer over the green.
yeah.
All right, so we
Yeah,
have a
I
few
like
more
the little
questions.
bit more kick.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How do we use the harvest?
This.
This is, yeah, probably last year. This was definitely our favorite thing to do with our harvest. Our harvest last year was a lot smaller too. It was only 1/3 of. There's a little bit of heat coming up later. We did 12 raised beds this year, which is 4 times as. We did 4 beds last year. We did 12 beds this year.
Yeah.
So there's
a
been an
lot
increase.
more.
But we did hot peppers last year as well, and it was the first thing we learned how to can was hot sauce, and
Definitely.
but we only ended up with 4 jars last year, and this year we've ended up with
At least 48.
yeah.
At least.
Yeah. So there's been an uptick in how many jars we've canned, and it's been an enjoyable thing to do with the harvest of hot peppers, and we've been canning a lot of stuff from the garden this year.
Definitely. So we've done the same with all of our cucumbers we made into pickles. We also, we did mix medley. So we put some beans in with some cauliflower.
Yep.
We did some carrots in with some of our dill. We did certain things like that, just experiments of flavors that we like together. And then we also froze a lot of it too.
Yeah,
so
that
the
was
stuff
cool.
we didn't want to pickle,
Yeah.
we freezer packed. Also used some Ziploc bags.
Yep. A lot of beans
Eating
got
outside
frozen.
flies.
Dill got frozen. Leeks got frozen.
Spring onions,
Onion tops got
zucchini.
zucchini.
We also made some baked goods, so zucchini muffins.
Yep, and all that stuff got froze
And
as
then
well.
we made some pre-done freezer meals as well. Some
Yeah, we did a
lasagnas
lot of
with
that,
our
too.
sauces, some chilies, which we used a lot of our sweet peppers.
Yep. Yeah.
There were definitely a lot of things we've done with our harvest,
Yeah.
but I think the best part is we actually shared a lot as well.
Yeah.
So we did a couple neighborhood walks, and we do have a couple friends and families that had mentioned interest in certain
Yeah. That's one of
vegetables,
the
and we dropped
things
it off.
you'll find with gardening sometimes is everything kind of in phases. Every once in a while, you get a lot of stuff all at once coming up at the same time. Like
Definitely.
we had
Hot
so much
peppers.
zucchini, eggplant, carrots. What was the other? Turnip?
Radish. We had a
and
lot of radish.
And those all kind of really reached full maturity at one time, to the point where it was way more than we could eat at one time. It was even more than we could really process at one time. So what we did was we just washed everything, bundled a lot of it up, and went to a few of our neighbors and just gave away some free food, which was really enjoyable. We actually
It was very enjoyable.
We really enjoyed doing that, and it's a nice way to
We
get
met
to
a couple new people.
yeah, it's a nice way to kind of meet the neighborhood a little bit. So
Oh, that's definitely great.
wanna
I had
try it?
another scoop with the nacho, and I think I just got a spicy bit. So, do you want to go on to the next one?
Yeah, I think we'll try the next one.
Definitely. I might have said I wanted to move on because I've tried this one and it's
Yeah.
my favorite so far. And I know that because these ones so far haven't compared to trying this one. And I'm really excited for
yeah.
it.
So this is the yellow hot sauce. This was the one. Okay, it's kind of on par for pourability with the green cayenne one.
And my dad said it looked like creamed corn. So
Yeah,
if
you
you're
can definitely compare it to cream corn for sure.
And we thought that was kind of interesting because, as you can see, the peppers we use, they have a purple tinge to them. So we thought we would get more of that like flex into the mixture itself.
But it's like a pure yellow.
Pure yellow. I'm so excited for this one. We did crack this open because we made some fajitas. And of course, with fajitas, you want to have hot sauce.
Yeah.
He's already digging in. I don't blame him. What do you think?
It's different. Okay. Yeah, compared to the other two entirely, it's different.
It bites you. That's what I find with this one. It kind of starts off really, really sweet.
Yeah.
And then
It's much more of a sweet and spicy.
your tongue is attacked immediately with spice.
Okay, there go my sinuses, yeah. But yeah, it's definitely the first thing that hits you is the sweetness. And then the spice after that, where all of them are more consistent throughout the whole eating part.
Definitely. More of a new flavor.
But, yeah.
What's something new you would want to plant? That was a question we got asked.
Garlic. We're doing that this fall, which is super exciting because garlic is one of those things we eat a ton of. Obviously, it's in the hot sauce, but if we cook a meal that doesn't have garlic in it, it's a pretty rare thing. It goes in everything from our roasts to shepherd's pie to fajita mix to just ground meat in general, chicken dishes.
Definitely.
We put it in everything. So we're doing.
To be honest, not to cut you off, but even each one of these recipes, each mixture creates roughly 8 to 9 jars if you don't filter it out. And that recipe calls for 6 cloves of garlic per kind. So among these, 5 times 6 is how many cloves of garlic?
Yeah, so we've gone through. So we've gone through at least
This one's spicy.
30 cloves of garlic just in making hot sauce.
Just in making hot sauce. And that's not including all of our home cooking that we do. I'm starting to sweat with this one. This one is very spicy.
This one definitely got me in the sinuses. So people wanted to know who does what and how like the labor's kind of divided up in the garden. Which, not intentionally, but there definitely is a labor division kind of on how we do things.
A little bit.
Some things we definitely like, we cross over, like planting. We both do a mix of planting. We kind of each have the things we enjoy planting. Like I did the potatoes and the onions this year, but you did 90% of everything else. I might have done a few cucumber plants here.
Definitely.
I think that one jalapeno plant we grew this year, I planted. You did 95% of all the seed starting this year.
Definitely.
And you've done the majority of the pruning, the pulling, the plant management.
But you did all the building of like building the beds. You do a lot of the heavy lifting, like a lot of the gravel, a lot of the mulch, a lot of the soil.
You did your fair share of shoveling
compost.
as well. I definitely did the gravel, which wasn't really
Definitely.
garden specific. That was more, we're building the wood lot right now for the shop extension, and that was a lot of
Still a part of the homestead.
still part of the homestead.
I probably look so red. I hope you guys understand how spicy this is. I'm even keeping my hands away from my face because I don't want to fix my hair too much and like cross contaminate and touch my eyes, because this is a spicy one.
Yeah, but I think also too, like
We're pretty even with a lot of stuff, though.
a lot of stuff.
We like to share.
The harvesting definitely is very even. But I think it's also like a lot of it too is just what we like or don't like doing. Like I don't mind coming in and pruning stuff, but like I mean, as a carpenter, I like building things. So to build beds and build frames and build trellises and all that kind of stuff, that's
Definitely.
really natural for me to do.
But organizing, getting rid of things is something that helps my mental health. So pruning is something I go in and I might see a plant that's really damaged, and the satisfaction I get from cleaning it up is definitely why I like pruning.
Yeah, and I like experiments and experimenting in science. So things like the compost, which you
Don't really like.
You don't.
There was a lot of grubs. We found a lot of grubs in our compost.
Yeah, and I like working on the compost because I like trying to get that kind of alchemy of the perfect mixture of green and brown, and when to turn it, how much water it needs. Like I like that part of it. So that's kind of been, that might be the only thing I've done almost exclusively. Where
Definitely.
you did exclusively probably the seed starting this year.
But that might change.
That might change. yeah, it's one of the projects coming up. Is we're gonna start
Definitely.
an indoor kind of grow light seed starting station, so that way it's easier for us and it doesn't take over our kitchen this year. Because
Definitely.
that I dislike is when it takes over the whole kitchen. 'Cause
I dislike that as well. Everything gets messy. There's
Yeah.
soil everywhere.
you got to clean the kitchen twice a day just to be able to cook a meal. And
We have pets, and we don't actually like having our cats around all our seedlings.
yeah,
Just
knocking
because,
stuff over, or
and they get curious.
they'll nip at
curious.
some stuff too. So
Are you curious about that red hot?
yes,
Or
that's,
do you still need a minute to cool down after that one?
maybe a nacho chip just to
Cleanse the palate.
yeah.
We did also get a lot of specific questions about when to dig up beets, how to check when your carrots are done. That were a lot of questions that were specific to vegetables,
And a lot of questions people asked about like how to can stuff or preserve stuff.
or transfer certain recipes into canning.
Yeah, take imperial units and convert them into metric units and all that as well. But
And quick answer is we're still learning as well.
yeah, so we don't feel confident or comfortable even just giving a lot of advice on that kind of stuff. Because like you said, we are still learning, and but we are ferocious learners. Like like pretty much the only thing we watch on YouTube right now
It's gardening, homesteading.
homesteading. I watch a bit more cooking stuff because I just like cooking so much.
Definitely. And I include my drama channels.
Yeah, and you get some of that as well. And then I do a lot of reading books because that's just how I always take information as books as well. But right now, some of our favorite places to learn and get answers to the questions that we have, which are a lot of the same questions you asked, is YouTube. It's probably the number one resource we use right now. And we probably have 3 main channels that are just wealths of information right now. I think we can link to them in the description below.
We can definitely include them.
But we'd love to give a big thanks to people like
M.I. Gardner.
M.I. Gardner.
Because a lot of our seeds come from him.
Yep,
We've
and
ordered
he's got
several
some
times.
Great growing guides for every specific plant. And because he's in Michigan, he's not too far away from us, so his growing season is very similar to
our
ours.
zone that
so
we're
it
in.
helps kind of transfer over. We also like
Acre Homestead for all of the amazing prep videos that she does for her husband and her family.
Yeah,
It's really
and-
awesome and inspiring.
Yeah, what's really inspiring is the meal prep videos that she's been putting out
Definitely.
lately, which has been great for us. We've definitely taken that and run with it because it's been helpful with working longer hours and the days getting shorter right now. It's really nice for me to get home and we know there's dinner ready to go.
And I'm not a cook, but her recipes are very easy to follow.
You're a better cook than you give yourself credit for.
We're learning. We're still
Your
learning.
cookies are magnificent. So
We do have couples we look up to as well, like 1870 Homestead.
yeah.
We pretty much would like to be like them.
they seem to have a pretty cool setup with their homestead, and
Good lifestyle, family
Yeah.
balance, work balance,
Yeah.
as well as doing stuff that is exciting and new and sometimes challenging.
yeah, for sure. So
Definitely.
okay, I think the tongue has rested enough. I
We're
don't know
ready.
if the sinuses are ready for it yet, but we're gonna get on to that last hot sauce now.
All right, let's do it.
Here we go, the final hot sauce. If this was actually hot ones, this would be something that's ridiculously high in Scoville units, and we'd be probably melting just opening the jar.
But we don't know.
Yeah. So this is a mixture of our fully ripened cayenne peppers and our fully ripened serrano peppers, both of which are a hot pepper. Off the top of my head, I don't know at all what the Scoville units are. And if anyone's actually interested, Scoville units are the way they measure the
The
heat
spiciness.
intensity of capsaicin peppers.
That one is a beautiful red color. These other
It
two
definitely
in the
has
center
this
here were a lot more orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one's really stunning.
So, and it's a nice pourable consistency.
Similar.
Again, I think that green one was really just the thickest of them all. Everything else has been pretty consistent on the pourability. So
I'm wondering if that's just because they were newer. Maybe they didn't have a lot of liquid in it.
yeah, don't know.
That right in the center.
But the nice thing too with these not being like a Tabasco sauce kind of consistency is they mix into dishes a lot better. Like if you want to add it into like a fajita mix or we always say fajita mix. It's
We
one of
do,
our-
that's
it's one
what-
of- it's one of our favorite things to do with
But we
hot sauce.
eat it on wraps. We eat it on sandwiches.
I mean, you can almost use it like a ketchup.
A
Instead,
scoop in pasta, even.
you can scoop of pasta instead of ketchup on like a hamburger would be great
Yeah,
too.
I've actually done that. I've had it on my
Yeah.
hamburger before. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I love the color. It almost looks like a jelly.
Yeah. All right, well, you go
I'm
for
trying
that.
it on a nacho because I'm over the chicken.
And we're going to take a bite, and while we're chewing, we're going to think about this. But a lot of people wanted to know what inspired us to start with the homesteading and the gardening, and where we see this going in the next couple of years to the rest of our lives. So
There was a couple milestones that were mentioned, like 2 years, 5 years. What's your dream goal?
yeah,
And for me, I don't really do my goals in little chunks like that because everything,
it's fluid. It's more fluid.
yeah, it
Things
happens
change
when it
daily.
happens, and a lot of things come up in life, so you can't really prepare.
But yeah,
But
cheers to
cheers to the
hot
last
sauce.
one. Has a very rich flavor.
So it's not at all sweet like the yellow one was, but that spice is definitely delayed. It takes a second to get there. It's nice though. And yeah, it definitely has more of that like red pepper jelly kind of consistency to it.
Yeah, it doesn't taste as... I'm not sure if it was because these two had... Sorry, I was just trying to catch my train of thought. I'm not sure if it's because these ones had the mix of peppers, which gave it a different consistency. But the consistency on this one is closer to like a jam, a jelly, which I personally like because you can actually feel the texture of it. Where I found the other ones were more like saucy, I guess. Where this one, it's bodied.
Yeah, there's a certain kind of substantialness to it.
I'm not a food critic. I don't know the terms that go with this. It's delicious.
It's very tasty.
So what's the goal? What's the vision?
I mean, for the next year, the immediate future is just learning more, growing more, preserving more.
Seeing what works for us, because there's a lot of things that didn't work for us. Like,
Well,
we don't
also-
like eggplant.
Yeah, we do not like eggplant. and we tried really hard. We tried a few
We tried
recipes
really
with
hard.
eggplant, and we just really did not enjoy it. So,
Definitely.
but also just, one of the, for next year, it probably is, or the next growing season, is probably just yield. We want more out of the
We
garden.
would like more.
Because we didn't even do any fertilizer this year. None. Not a
Yeah.
drop of fertilizer.
We don't
at all.
think we're at our max potential with what we have right now. And we've talked about this. Like, do we want to move in 2 years, 5 years,
Yep,
10 years?
that's been a conversation.
Do
we've
we
been
want to
having.
have children here in this home? Do we want to have children in another home? Do we want to live in Ontario always? Would we like to try other places?
Yeah. How far away do we want to move from cities? How remote do we want to go? How big of a property would we want?
Definitely.
Like, so those.
But we always come back to that point you said about learning with what we have now and still utilizing what we have, because we haven't completely maximized our
Yeah.
space. We haven't done our capacity
Yeah.
here.
But regardless of where we end up, the things that inspired us to start this are the things that we still have set as goals. And the big ones for me are food sustainability is really high on that list. And
which mine would be health.
health is definitely high on that list too. And I mean, it's hard to not mention that COVID kind of jump started a lot of this. We found ourselves with a lot of time last year where we could do a lot more gardening.
But with that, honing in on skills that were maybe lost in our generation, because
Yep.
a lot of people our age, like we're in our 30s, they don't necessarily garden. They're busy with children or busy with a career, and
Yeah.
they're not focusing on what they can get back to the land.
And for both of us, that's a real sadness that we see, that people
is.
don't know how to do some of these really basic things that even a generation ago were really commonplace.
Definitely.
And that was, again,
Something our relatives and our grandparents did.
yeah, both of our grandparents are big gardeners.
And the more we learn about family, the
yeah.
more we see that and how we would like to keep that going on to
Yeah.
our generation that we create.
But health is definitely one. Like, we both know just from anecdotal experience that when we eat less processed foods or fast food or
We feel
takeout,
better.
we feel better. So growing our own food is really important to us for our own health, both
Definitely.
physically and mentally.
And it might be mentioned a lot of hot sauces. Why would you do that to yourself? We haven't had reactions to these hot sauces. We haven't had situations.
Yeah, last year's batch didn't adversely affect us at all.
And trying this one here, so far this year has been completely fine as well.
Yeah.
And
None of
that's
those
interesting to
None
us.
of those cliches about hot sauce.
Not in
burning-
this family.
Burning up the second time around.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think, again, going back to it, it's like food sustainability, and for us, that's also going to, and hopefully we'll be able to share some of this information coming forward too, is it's more than just gardening for us.
It is. It's our budget.
It's how do you budget properly so when you do have to buy food, you're not wasteful. How do you save that food so it goes as far as possible? How do you pre-make meals?
How do you try new things? Because there
Yep.
were a lot of things like radish pods that were never available in
Yep.
the commercial market because of the shelf life that they have. And we were able to plant that and try that. And
Yep.
we're able to get in some seeds and plant seeds of different varieties that aren't available at our supermarkets here.
Yeah. Well, even people telling us too that like when you grow things like the brassicas, broccolis, cauliflowers, and kohlrabi is another one as well. All of the leaf
Is edible.
is edible too. So
That's a
learning
great
how
one.
to save that kind of stuff and use it and incorporate it into recipes, that's really exciting
Definitely.
for us. But the big one for me too going forward is I'm looking more into fishing again, and then hunting as probably after that as well, because I mean
Definitely.
lofty goal is at some point in our lives getting to a point where we're almost 100% food sustainable ourselves. And
We have a couple of friends and family who are on that pathway that
Yep.
we're able to ask questions
Yep.
for, and that are already doing that lifestyle. So that's another thing, is finding our community of people that
Yeah.
share the similar views and similar goals, because also too we can then trade and we can create this
Yeah.
network that's more independent.
well, just there's so much to learn, and sharing it is really exciting too.
Definitely. And that's why we started making videos for you guys.
Yeah. And it's
And why we ate publicly on the internet, and why we are sharing little bits of our heart.
hey, neither of us died on the hot sauce, so that's like really exciting.
Yeah, and like we pretty much finished our plates.
Yeah, those
Like
chicken
I
wings
mean,
turned
the
out pretty
chicken
well.
wings were great.
Maybe another
and
video will be me showing you how we made the chicken wings, because they were pretty easy.
They seem to like the roast beef dinner one, so hopefully you
That's
guys
good.
enjoy the cooking videos. And if you do, definitely leave us a comment below
Yeah.
and let us know.
Yeah, ask
because-
more questions too. We'll definitely share more again.
And we do have a couple more that we didn't answer in this video, but
Yeah.
we didn't want to make it too long. And to be honest, we're kind of out of hot sauces, out of food, so
I think
we
it's
probably should wrap this up.
probably time to go. So
Well, thanks for
talk to you guys
joining
again soon.
our dinner, and see you later.